Shora.
And I'm Saika.
And it's time for another episode of Red Wine Girl Time.
So I realized that in our last episode we had a lot of girl time.
Not a lot of red wine.
So we're going to introduce the bottle of wine that we are drinking for today. Today we are sipping on Seven Moons Red Blend. So the Seven Moons Red Blend celebrates the phases of the moon, yes, goddess, by combining 7 grape varietals into a smooth, fruity, easy to drink wine. Uncork a bottle, pour a glass, and find connection in the moonlight.
So for those of you at home who don't know, varietal is going to be the type of grape used in the wine. So what are some of the different flavors we have in here?
So the different grapes used for the 7 moons, So the different grapes used for the 7 Moons Red Blend is going to be a Shiraz, a Merlot, a Petit Shiraz, a Zinfandel, Cabernet Sauvignon, Malbec, and Grenache. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly because that was definitely not on our vocabulary list.
Just go with it.
But we just gonna go with it. Maybe we'll learn a little bit later.
And as you can see, my glass is ready because of the alcohol content in this wine. Where are we with that content?
So the alcohol content is going to be 13.5% by volume, which means that you get a really, really nice little buzz with a glass. Yes.
And last but not least, the best part about this is you can find this in your local liquor store for like $10.
Yeah, I paid $10 for this. It's a great, this is the 3rd time that I've had this wine. Like, this is definitely my go-to when I'm bougie on a budget. I love to get this wine. And again, like, it's gonna be like a fruity, light-bodied wine.
This wine was especially chosen for me.
It was.
I'm a baby.
All right. Let's grab a glass.
Okay, so
tonight's topic is the question we all ask at some point in our relationships.
Get left on red or get red to filth for it. Why?
What are we?
What are we? It's so simple. Such a simple question.
It's such a complex question.
At the same time. Yeah. So what is the difference between a relationship and a situationship?
Okay.
Do you know?
So I would say a situationship is where you don't have any expectations. You're just going with the flow.
Okay.
And maybe not that you don't have expectations, but you do not feel that you are in a position to set your expectations and your boundaries because the other person doesn't care about them. A relationship is constant communication. It's actions that meet effort. It's quality time. Whereas in a situationship, it's scheduled time. And it's compromise. In a relationship, there's compromise. In a situationship, there's ultimatum.
Okay. Yeah.
In situationships, there's a lot of walking away. In relationships, there's a lot of finding your reasons to stay. And sometimes we find our reasons to stay in situationships. So that's where the two can get confused, and that is where crazy women, as I've once been, think that they're in relationships as opposed to situationships, and so it's sometimes in how you respond to the present situation.
Okay.
Yeah?
Yeah.
What about you? Because that was really hard for me to answer.
I think a situationship is a relationship without responsibility. She's a genius. it includes the same things as a relationship, especially the relations. It's two people who are simply deciding not to have standards, not to have expectations, because it feels easier. But a situationship is actually much harder than a relationship, because in a situationship, as you said, schedule time versus quality time, it's a lot of tiptoeing around. It's a lot of not being able to just ask, hey, can you come over? Hey, can we go out on a date? Hey, I didn't really like that you did that thing last week. Could you not? It's more I'm not allowed to have these feelings because you do not belong to me. But at the same time, there's always someone in a situationship who has the power to demand things without even asking, or who has the power to move and shift the space of that relationship without saying much, because the expectations are all on their corner. So that to me is a situationship. Oh, I don't do those, baby.
I've done them.
I think we've all done them, but I know you don't even do them.
I don't do them anymore.
Yeah.
I don't. Yeah. Wow. Yeah.
Because after, I think as a grown woman especially, when you know yourself and you really, even back to what we spoke about the last episode, when you love yourself, there's just a way that you just don't let other people treat you.
Facts.
Absolutely not.
Yeah.
No. What? What is this? Yeah, no.
Whom are you speaking with? Because it is not I.
Don't call you after what? Boy, I'll call you at 3 a.m.
Yeah.
And if I can't, then I won't call you.
If I can't call you at 3 a.m., then we don't need to be speaking.
No, absolutely not.
How do you initiate commitment?
We go together.
I am so sick of you. Oh my God.
No. Okay, seriously, that is so difficult. I'm not gonna lie. I'm a strong woman. I'm very opinionated, but even I have a hard time initiating commitment. Not only am I asking you to adhere to a standard that we both don't, because you never know what's gonna happen tomorrow. We both don't know if we're strong enough to uphold, but I'm also saying to myself, hey self, that little wild life we were living, let's put that on hold. It is one of my submissive moments. I let the man initiate it. I show my intentions throughout the interaction. I make sure that I'm clear on, yes, we can, no, we can't. This is what I want, this is what I don't want, this is what I like, this is what I don't like. I make sure that my intentions are clear and my motives are clear. That way the man has a space to decide, okay, I'm seeing that I'm not going to get these things that I want. This is really bad. I'm seeing that I'm not going to be able to get these things that I want unless we are in this particular situation. So what are these things? Because realistically speaking, as much as we try not to have sex is inevitable when you are extremely attracted to someone, or that like you're with someone. So what are the things that you feel like, okay, this is how I'm going to hold out to say this is what you don't get until we are in a relationship? Like, what are those things realistically? Because it ain't sex. The fact that she put my business out there, did you see that? Did you peep that moment?
I was speaking for us all.
The fact that she looked me in my eyes and she said, yeah, because it's not sex. I'm aware, okay? We've been there a couple times before.
No.
But I'm gonna take that L and charge it to the wine. It's okay. What you said is true though. That a lot of times, yes, when the physical connection is strong, sex is usually not gonna be a thing that we're like, oh no, not until blah blah. Sometimes that just happens. We can't help the laws of attraction. But you find, I know at least at this stage I am in my life, that sex is not something that a lot of partners are more pressed for. It's more the things like, as a creative, me especially, time.
I was literally thinking that before you said it, because I was trying to find the answer, and the answer is time.
It's time.
It's dropping everything when they call you.
Exactly. And I let it be very known that no, it's not going to work that way. I'm busy. I have this to do, I have that to do. I am definitely not going to be canceling anything for someone who's not my man. It's just not going to happen. In my head, you have the option to do other things. I'm not going to be the option that puts my things to the side so that I can be a pick of the night. If that's the case, I have no problem with you choosing your other options because they have less on their plate, and I'll see you at dinner.
For me, I would say to set your expectations early. We have to eliminate this whole talking phase.
Oh my God, are we in high school? People are still talking?
People are still talking. Grown women are still talking. I know
What
because
are we
I'm
talking
friends
about?
with them. So here's the thing, right? In high school, we talk makes sense.
Because we don't
Mama's
live in our
strict.
home.
We live in our homes. We barely got a curfew. If you had a curfew in high school, kudos to you because I had to be straight home after choir practice. So time is not on our side. Realistically speaking, in high school, the guys that I was interested in were not in a position to court me, and I was not in a position to be courted because we were children. As adults, out of high school, and yes, even in college, I'm not talking to you. We don't talk.
It's actually laughable every time she says it because I'm still not making the talking.
Yes. Because what happens is you meet someone that you find really, really attractive, and the first thing that a guy will tell you, and this is 9.5 times out of 10, men walk into these situations with us. They meet us on Tinder, they meet us at a bar, they meet us through a friend, and on the very first date, on the very first interaction, they'll make it clear, I'm not looking for a relationship.
How did it? My spirit felt it. It's funny how comfortable they are just
Letting you know that off rip. Okay. So now, we as women, because we don't want to seem thirsty, because we don't want to seem pressed, because we don't want to seem lonely, we go, oh, me neither. Meanwhile, you looking at this fine specimen, imagining a life with him, hoping he has this bomb personality, wondering what his family is like, can't wait to learn about the home that he comes from. But you've already told him, you don't have expectations, neither do I. So now we are in this thing where we're growing together, we're learning each other, and there's no bar that's set. There's nothing that we're going towards. There's no end game. And so then that's how we get stuck in this thing. And so then if while at first, the first month, the first 2 months, the first 3 months, he's finding time, he's taking you out, he's this, and that. By the time you guys have sex, you're basically the girlfriend without the title. Like, we're always the girlfriend without the title. Why? Because, well, you said you didn't want a relationship either when it's not true. How do you initiate commitment, or how do you start that conversation? You start that conversation early on. If you are the relationship girl, if you are the I love being in love girl, if you are the I'm ready to be in love girl, the hopeless romantic, then early on, it don't matter how fine that man is, you will not change his mind. No means no. I'm not ready means I'm not ready. And 9 times out of 10, I'm not ready just means I'm not ready for you.
For you. 2 very important things I want to touch on in that. Number 1, stop giving everything to everyone. That is key right there.
Yes.
It is so sad to watch, sad to feel, because we've all been there. But when you're giving everything, even think about the different things that you give, whether it be intimately, whether it be spiritually, mentally,
emotionally, creatively,
everything. Stop walking around with this silver platter of this is all I have to offer, and here you go. Put it on your living room table. That's not really a table, but a stack of boxes. Because he doesn't even have the foundation necessary to hold all of these things. You're giving him everything, and he doesn't have the space in his hands.
And then, when that cardboard box crumbles, you comfortable eating on the floor.
Oh, sis. They didn't. Yo, it is, and it's crazy because that is the perfect analogy. You put all that you have on this foundation that is not
even sturdy,
is not ready at all for you. And when it falls apart, instead of picking your things up and saying, you know what, like, you know that meme with the Louis bag when she's like packing all the stuff, like that's how fast you need to be packing your stuff.
But we don't. We eat off the floor.
But you don't. You're like, oh, that's okay. Let me just. Do you have napkins? Oh, you don't. Oh, you have toilet tissue. Oh, that's okay. I'll just get a. And just making things work that don't work, which leads me to my second point, baby girl. Stop dating red flags. Stop dating these red flags. Like, can I get some more wine?
Can you be in a relationship with someone that you don't see a future with?
Absolutely.
Okay. We are on the same page about this. I was actually expecting a different answer.
Are we on the same page?
Oh, God.
Are we? We're about to find out after these messages.
You're so annoying.
So, absolutely, you can be in a relationship with someone that you don't mean to end up with or don't want to end up with. But this is my thing about it. And I'm gonna take a little couple pieces from our Falling in Love with Potential episode, because it does go back to that. Not every man that you settle down with is your husband, and you usually can sense that from the first time that you like interact with him. Mm-hmm. You can usually sense it from the first conversation. Does that mean that just because you interact with a man and he's giving you signs that he's not your husband, does that mean that he can't be your boyfriend? No. Because there's things that he can teach you. As I said to you earlier, it has to, like Drake said, practice. And that is a very real thing. Some of these men are practice. Some of these boys are practice for that man who deserves the all of you. And I'm not going to lie, you know, boys that I've dealt with before have definitely prepared me to be the wife and to be the woman for whatever lucky man comes along that I decide to completely submit for. And it's been wonderful, whatever levels they teach me, whether it's intimacy, whether it's also being submissive, whether it's learning about myself, setting standards, learning what I absolutely do not want, learning to say no, learning to say this is what I want. Whatever it is, they teach you so much. They're stepping stools. They're stepping stones. You step on them to climb to the top.
Shut up.
Husband, I'm coming. Yo, can you just
All right. I have this theory on why married women cheat.
Mm-hmm.
Married women cheat because from young, women are taught to learn about themselves through relationships.
Oh yeah. You're about to say a word. You're about to say a word and I'm
yeah. So women are taught to learn about themselves through relationships, whether it be romantic, whether it be friendly, and whether it be through our family. We always know who we are in relation to others, right? That's our learning curve. Boys, their learning curve is through sports. Mm-hmm. It's through activities. It's through even creativity. It's through math. It's through science. It's through all these things. Boys learn about themselves through experiencing life. And in those things, you learn teamwork, but you also learn how to be selfish. You learn how to be self-sufficient. There's so many different things that boys are taught to learn themselves through. And so then by the time that they settle down, and you know that theory about like how men don't marry the woman that they love, they marry the woman that they're ready for. By the time a man is ready to settle down, he's already experienced things. By the time a woman gets married, she's probably had little to no life experiences as far as learning herself.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, that's why girls who play sports move different.
Mm-hmm. A word that's so
I'm not even gonna hold you, and I'm not athletic at all. Girls who played sports in high school moved very different. And so then what happens is when a woman gets married, a woman who has not had the opportunity to learn herself through activities and through real life experiences, who only knows herself in relation to others, in relation to what she can do for others, especially girls who grew up raising their siblings. What happens is you get in this relationship and you think that you're supposed to be fulfilled. You think that you were supposed to have found yourself in this marriage and through these children, and you haven't. And so then you start to get restless. And so then once you start to get restless, instead of picking up hobbies and instead of picking up new activities and instead of like finding these different ventures to learn yourself and travel and this and that, you go to what you know, which is finding yourself through others, which is another man. And so that is how women cheat. And so for me, I want us to relearn how we approach these relationships. Every person that you date is not going to be your husband. And if you approach every relationship like, this is the person that I'm gonna have to be with forever, you won't learn a damn thing about yourself, because the entire time you're in that relationship, you're trying to make it last, which 10 times out of 10 means that you're trying to please the other person. And so you don't learn about yourself. I always say that I'm grateful for every relationship, including the failed ones, because they've always allowed me an opportunity to learn things about myself. And so, yeah, you should be able to function and give in relationships where you don't see a future. Because what happens is, when I don't see myself as your wife, I'm able to put myself first. And I am a firm believer in putting your husband first. Every man is not my husband. Every man I've dated is not my husband. Every man I've been interested in is not my husband. So no, you do not always get to be put first. When I am a wife, my man will definitely come first. But until then, in order to learn about myself and in order to understand what my boundaries are beyond you, I need to see this relationship for what it is. It is a moment. And yes, it's a blessing if that moment lasts a year. It's a blessing if that moment lasts 2 years. It's a blessing if that moment ends up in marriage. But if you don't know how to put yourself first in relationships, 9 times out of 10, it's because you're expecting that this person needs to come before you. You cannot put every man before you. This wine is really good. I'm a lot more confident with how episode 2 has gone.
I'm actually completely not confident. I'm afraid to see my face.
You do look a little lit right now. You do look a little lit. Any last minute 2-second advice that you would like to give our viewers as far as the "what are we?" question?
If you have to ask what you are, you're 2 separate people with 2 separate agendas. If you are on a path to a relationship, you'll know, because his intentions will be clear, whether it be the things that he does, the things that he says, the things that he makes habit, or the way that you feel his spirit. But if you have to ask what you are, then you are someone who needs to be reconsidering what you're doing.
And then just to piggyback off of that, because I know earlier Ashura said that, you know, she likes to play it 70s style and wait for the guy to ask her. I think that a man who has intentions for a future with you, he's going to make that clear. And then even if he's more on the shy side, like, you're gonna feel it and you're gonna know. So then you won't be as afraid to approach that conversation of like, hey, you know what, let's take this to the next level. Let's get out of that talking phase. No more talking. Either you're courting me.
Stop doing that talking thing.
Yeah.
Stop.
You're either courting me or we're having sex. We're either in a relationship or we're not. And just to be clear, like, I know that whole like, oh, we talk just means that like you hit me up when you want sex, but my emotions are all involved. Like, if you want to just have sex, if you want a casual relationship, a no commitment thing, girl, yes, power to you, I'm here for it. But if you want a relationship, make it clear from the beginning, I would like to be courted. If that is not in your game plan, that's cool, you're great, you're probably even better than what I'm imagining in my head, or you're probably trash. I won't stick around to find out, because we don't want the same thing off rip. And that's just that.
Stop having sex with people who don't like you. That's probably the wine talking, but
Some girls wonder.
Other girls and wine.
That
was red wine girls time.
All right. Be sure to like, rate, comment, and subscribe. Definitely give us your results on here. Tune in next week, Thursday, on our Instagram for our live. And yeah, thank you guys for tuning in. I think that this was a great episode.
I think so too. I felt them writing their little X's and O's under our comments, so I want to see those when we post this.